Now I can ask that question, right?
Good evening. Name and
Good
address,
evening.
please.
Deb Paul, 118 Hardy Road. This question, Mr. Chair, is for Mr. Malaguti on the how you open up the charter. So I read it, and it says you have to get 20% of the signatures from the last election, but it doesn't specify which last election. Is it the last town election, which is reasonable to do, but if it means the last election held in town, which would be a presidential election, primary, that whole thing, that would be astronomical. So that would be question one, like which election are you speaking of when you say the last election? And what is the time frame in which I have to get the request to open up the charter to Mr. Malaguti to look at, and that I can start collecting those signatures? Because if I only have a month to do it, that's kind of crazy. So I those were the two important questions that I needed to get answered in order to move this forward. And it would be, excuse me, one more thing, it would only be for the planning board to be elected as opposed to appointed, and it would only be for the budget committee to come into compliance with RSA 14 lowercase b.
That'd be a change in government.
Right. The latter one I'm less able to speak to right now, but I'm 99% sure that it is the last regular municipal election.
Okay.
For purposes of counting the signatures, and there is a fairly complex, because I was trying not to be overly legal, process for submitting what it is that you want to do to the town. It would actually be through the town clerk's office. The clerk issues blank signature cards, and there's a very specific process that's laid out in statute, and I'm certainly happy to direct you to that statute. As far as the changing to the elected, to an official budget committee, that may entail more process because it's a change in the form of government, and I would need to look at that further.
So, excuse me, Mr. Chair, can you kind of give me, can Mr. Malaguti kind of give me a time estimation of when he can get that information to me? Because I would like to start doing this as soon as possible, for those two especially. I mean...
I think you need to speak to legal counsel, because we
Mm-hmm.
cannot offer legal advice.
That's right. That's right. I can direct you to the statute, but I
right.
can't advise you. First of all, I'm not, I don't represent the town at this point.
I understand.
We have outside legal counsel who's the town attorney. And again, attorneys can't give legal advice to people who aren't their clients. I can explain to you what I understand the law to be, but that's exactly right.
No, I understand. I just want to make sure I take the appropriate steps so nobody can say I didn't do it the right way. That's all I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, the other provision is that the town council can open the charter without signatures.
Okay, but
That there is that provision in the charter that the town council can vote by majority vote to open the charter.
well, that was my hope by putting it on the ballot, that you would see that there was support for it and that would have happened. But
I've said I don't have any objection to it.
I'm just looking at my options, John. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm
trying to-
sorry.
Can we?
Believe it or not, I'm trying to help you.
I know.
So,
I know.
So Mr. Faber said it very well. Go through a process, follow the laws, ask people what to do. We have a long budget cycle. The council can decide to open the charter in November and put it on the ballot, just as an option so that you're aware. That's all.
So can those processes be presented here at council or to me in an email as to exactly what I need to do as an individual to start this process going?
I think.
Or do you have to start
manager
that
had
process?
Said is that he could direct you to the RSA, but can't provide advice on the legality or an
But I'm
opinion.
talking.
Go ahead.
I'm really confused.
I'm sorry.
He's talking about two separate things.
Yeah,
So
that's
if
what I thought.
We can generate it from our end, from the town council end, and vote by
Correct.
majority vote to open the charter. There's also the citizen part where you'd have to go and follow what's in that.
Right,
RSA.
those RSAs.
Two separate things.
Well, that's why I got confused just then.
My apologies.
I was trying to follow John's advice and going through a process, and I'm trying to understand what that process is. So do I have to take any steps, or is it you guys that have to take the steps?
So I guess the best way to explain it is that If the town council decided it wanted to go through that process, the town council would engage the town attorney and would go through the process with the town attorney's advice on how to proceed. It will be a costly legal matter to do it. I don't know what it will cost, but it'll be 5 figures or more to go through that process. It has to go through the state. There's multiple steps that have to be taken. If a citizen decides that they want to decide to go out and to take that process on, the town can't advise you on how to do that because you're not the client of the town attorney. You would have to get your own legal advice on how to do that. What Mr. Malaguti is saying is I can direct you to the statute, but I am no longer a practicing attorney.
No, I understood all of that, but I thought I was hearing two different things.
They are two different things.
Okay. So I guess I will sit down and read this and try to figure it out and try to get this process with the signatures going. Right?
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.